Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So last video, we took a look at Python basics. We downloaded Python and we ran a simple Hello World program. So this video is the second video in the series, and today we're going to look at Python syntax, variables, data types, and comments. So we got quite a bit to do, so let's jump right in. So this is what we did last video. We printed Hello World. And there's a couple important things to note about this in terms of syntax. So the first thing you'll notice is there is no semicolon at the end of it. And this is unlike many programming languages that require a semicolon to end the sentence, or to end the phrase. So this is the first important syntax thing. Secondly is the idea of indentation. So take a look at this expression here. We haven't gone over for loops yet, but it's important for you to understand syntax in Python. You'll notice, again, there's no semicolon at the end, and you'll notice the indentation here. This is telling the compiler that anything with an indentation is part of this loop. If we jump down to this line and print I again, that's also in the loop. But if we go like this, that's outside the loop because it doesn't have indentation. Another thing to note, this indentation doesn't have to be one tab or 4 spaces. It can be whatever you want it to be. So I'd say 4 spaces is normal. However, you can do 1 space if you like. And this does the same thing. Perfect. Next up are comments. So comments are a way to write a sentence or two about what a piece of code does. So if you come back to it later, or another programmer looks at it, they know and understand what it does. So comments in Python are quite simple. It is just a hashtag or a number sign, and then you can write whatever you want. And when you run this code, this will be ignored by the compiler. To prove that, we can print this. We'll print string 10, and you won't see the comment. Another way to do a comment are triple quoted strings. We're going to go over these in a couple minutes, but a triple quoted string is like this. And anything inside here will also not be printed. Let's try that. Oops, cleared it. Run. Perfect. You'll see we just get 10. So this and this are identical. So if you want to do multi-line comments, this is a good way to go about it. You can do this, but you can also do multi-line comments like this. These are both equivalent. Okay, next on the list we have variables. So a variable is simply a container for storing data values. So again, unlike most languages, Python does not have a command for declaring a variable. You simply write the variable name, x, equals, and then its value. So we can say 2. So this is declaring 2 in x. So now if we print x, you will see we print 2. Now, that's really all we need to know for variables. There are different types of variables that we can do, and we will go over that next with data types. So let's look at the restrictions for our variable names. So here I used x, and that's just a lowercase letter. So that's a fine variable name. Lowercase letters are all fine. So we can say my variable equals 3. That works. They are all lowercase. We can also do all uppercase. We can say my var equals 2. And that works too. We can even have a combination of those. My var, that works as well. So as you can see, we can use any combination of lower and uppercase letters. You can also use underscores. Now the underscores can be in the front of their variable name, or they can be in the middle. And I'd say this is a very typical way of declaring a variable right here. Either you will do something like this if you just need one word, and if you need two, you'll just put an underscore in it. So this is probably the most common way you'll see. So these are all legal. And the last legal way is a number. Now with numbers, you have to be careful because you cannot have a number at the beginning of the name. So you cannot say 3 var equals 3. That will not work. But you can say var 3 equals 3, or v3v equals 3. Now let's look at some of the illegal variable names. So we just saw one. You can't have a number starting off the variable names. That is one illegal name. And another illegal name is having a dash. You cannot have something like this, and the dash cannot be in the middle of the name. That is also illegal. And lastly, this should be fairly obvious, but you cannot have a space in between. That is illegal because Python, as we saw, Python syntax is based on indentations. This would not work. Alright, so we covered syntax, we covered variables, and we covered comments. The last thing to cover are data types. Alright, let's first look at text. So, say we want to declare a person's name. We can do name equals Ben. This is type str. We can test that by printing out the type and passing the variable name. Now if we run this, you'll see we get type str. So this is of type string. Now you can also use double quotes. And if we do the type of that, you'll see it is also of type string. And as we saw, you can use triple quotes as well. Now if we print out that, again, type string. So these are all great ways of declaring strings. Now, you might be wondering why you'd want to use triple quotes. Well, say we have a quote. If we use double quotes, Ben says hi. That won't work because Python thinks this is a string and this is a string, so it doesn't know what this is. But we can fix that by using triple quotes there, triple quotes there. Now we can successfully put single or double quotes inside of this string. So if we print out quote, we get Ben says hi. Okay, next up we have numeric types. So the first numeric type is an integer. We saw this already. This is simply a number. So you can say x equals 6. We'll print the type. We'll print the type of x. And we have type int. Next up, we have the float. So float is just a number with a decimal point in it. So say we have pi 3.14. If we print the type of that, we get type float. And the last numeric type is a complex type, complex numbers. So for that, we can declare something like this. And if we print out b, we will get type complex. So these are the 3 numeric types Python supports. Next up are Boolean types. So Boolean is either true or false. So we can say a equals true. So we can say a equals true, make sure it's capitalized, and b equals false. Now if we print the type of, say b, we'll get type bool, and type A is the same. Perfect. Next up are sequence types. So sequence types are essentially arrays, although Python doesn't support arrays directly, so we use these instead. So we have three different types. First, we have a list, so we can say x equals, and we can do a list of numbers per se. And if we print out type x, we get type list. And these can also be words and floats. And you'll also get type list. So that's one of the cool things about Python. You can throw different data types into a list. Next is a tuple. So we can again say x equals, and then tuples are in parentheses. And then same as a list, we can throw values in here. Now if we print out x, we will get tuple. And again, we can put in words in here, and it will stay a tuple. Now the last sequence type is range. So it's kind of a shorthand for a list of numbers. If we do x equals range 5, this will give us a list of numbers from 0 to 4. So first let's print out the type. So use type list. Now let's print x. There we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So say you wanted 50. This will give 0 to 49. There we go. That's a quick and easy way to declare a lot of numbers in a list. Now the last data type I'm going to go over today is the dictionary type. So for this, we can write x equals, and this is going to be in brackets, and it's kind of like JSON. We're going to have a name, colon, and then its value. So we can say Ben, and then we can have maybe last name, its value, and then maybe age and its value. And you see we can use strings and integers and anything you want. So say 119.5, that works too. Now if we print out x and type x, we get type dictionary, and we get this. Okay, so these are all the data types that we went over in this video. We have text, numeric, Boolean, sequence, and dictionary. So these are most of the data types that Python has to offer, and most of the ones that you'll be working with. Now the last thing I want to take a look at is casting. So say we have my var equals 4. Now this will be an integer, but if we want to be sure of that, or for some reason you're doing a bunch of calculations and this is not an integer, you can cast it to an int by just wrapping it in an int. That will make sure that this is an integer. So if we print my var and print type of my var, you'll see we get type int and 4. Now let's cast this to a string. Oops. str. Now Try to think what this is going to do. Boom. It changes it to type string, but it's still 4. And the last cast is a float. So if we cast this to a float, not only will it change type float, but it'll also add a 0.0 there. I hope you learned something in this video. As a recap, we went over Python syntax, variables, data types, commenting, and casting. So quite a bit of stuff. And in the next video, we're going to take a look at Python operators. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.